Welcome to today's webinar entitled Cityworks and Mobile Integration to Ensure Levels of Service. Today we are pleased to be co-presenting with RJ Burnside and Associates to showcase the interface between Cityworks and the Burnside Mobile solution for road patrol. There's also a sidewalk and trail patrol and a winter road patrol which function the same way with Cityworks. This webinar will be a combination of describing the business function of Burnside Mobile with Cityworks, demonstrating the interface between Burnside Mobile and Cityworks, and responding to questions from those who are attending the session. My name is Bill Grant, and I will be your host and moderator for today's webinar. Over the past 30 years, I've worked in both public and private sectors managing and implementing asset and maintenance management systems at the federal, provincial, and municipal levels in Canada and the United States. Before we begin the main portion of today's webinar, I do have some housekeeping things to review. We will be recording the session and will provide it to you for future reference. And in the email that you'll receive, there's a questionnaire survey that we'd like you to complete. It helps us make decisions on the types of sessions that are meaningful to you and improve on the delivery of how we run the sessions. If you do have any questions to ask, please enter them into the Q&A panel. Make sure to ask all participants and type in your question in the box and click send. I'll give you a moment to take a look and make sure you've got access to this. We will take questions at the end, but feel free to type your questions in as we go along while it's fresh in your mind. Today's speakers are Christopher Roth, Arunas Kalanos, and Gord Copeland. I'd like them to just give you a quick introduction because you'll hear them throughout the session today.
Thanks, Bill. It's Chris here. My video should be coming through any moment now. I'm the technical solutions specialist here with the Public Works team at Esri Canada. And I have 10 years of experience with enterprise GIS and business systems, and 8 of those have been spent at the local municipal level. I've supported and led projects at various scales to implement maintenance processes directly with the staff who are responsible for the asset infrastructure, its creation, maintenance, and disposal. My passion is what's bringing me here today, and it's to achieve, client success through digital transformation projects, whether it's they're re-engineering their processes from the ground up or they're going mobile in a business case like this. Thanks, Bill.
Okay, Arunas.
Yeah, hi everyone. Happy you can join us. I'm Arunas Kalanauskas, and as you can see from my gray hair, I have over 30 years experience in asset management. I'm assuming similar to Bill, but the last 24 years, I've been leading the asset management and GIS group at RJ Burnside and Associates Limited, which is an engineering firm with over 350 engineers and scientists in 10 offices.
Okay, Gord. Okay, well, Gord might be having some problems with his audio. We'll correct that. So the agenda for today will demonstrate how Burnside Mobile and Cityworks can be used to save money, streamline reporting, ensure a municipality's set levels of service standards are being met, and continue to protect the municipality from liability. To provide you with a bit of a background, Esri Canada is the distributor and implementer of Cityworks in Canada. We have a team of 24 in offices across the country who are dedicated to providing asset and maintenance management software and consulting services on the business and best practices of maintaining your physical assets. Cityworks is the most widely used asset and maintenance management system in North America, with over 70 users in Canada and over 750 users in the United States and around the world. One of the key strategies that we use at Esri Canada is when working with our customers is the ability to interface Cityworks with a variety of third-party software applications, allowing an organization to implement best-of-breed programs to meet specific needs. We have built interfaces to financial systems supporting payroll, materials management, and accounts payable, automated vehicle locator systems and fuel systems to trigger equipment preventive maintenance work orders, and Microsoft Outlook with crew scheduling, to name a few. We will have a couple of polls today, and on this one here, we're asking if your municipality currently uses a work management software package to track and correct maintenance issues. So if you could respond with a yes or no, we'll just get a bit of an idea of who is out there and what you've got. You may be using a lot of Excel spreadsheets or Access databases, but I'm thinking more in terms of those who've got a third party like a Cityworks or something like that that you're using for to manage your maintenance operations. And we'll give you a couple of seconds to complete that. Okay, and let's see if we've got some results from that so far. And we can come back to that, and we can give you the results, the percentages of that as we go through the session today. So what I'd like to do now is pass the presentation over to Arūnas Kalinauskas from RJ Burnside, who will provide you with information related to the Burnside solution.
It's half and half. Very, very interesting. Thanks, Bill. So asset management, one of the things that I found right on the Esri website is these two quotes that are quite interesting and really connects with what we're trying to do today and share information about levels of service and maintenance standards and things like that. Over the last 20 years, I found that most municipalities have been struggling with not only defining, but maintaining levels of service on their assets. This could be for many reasons. Budget would be one particular reason that's being cut all the time. So what does levels of service really mean? It is really identified with the day-to-day activities of maintenance applied to your municipal assets. But the real question one needs to ask is, what is the minimum acceptable maintenance standard that will provide you with appropriate levels of service to the public as well as extend the life of that asset? I'm sure everyone has seen a graph like the one on your screen that has indicated all kinds of things for you. But the main things here I want to point out are these graphs not only tell you when the best times to produce a capital improvement or a maintenance plan or a maintenance cycle, but it's also giving you the best practice of how to extend the life of that asset using those minimum maintenance standards. So if we go to the next slide here. So these maintenance standards, I believe every province, state has published maintenance standards for roads, bridges, many other assets like drinking water and wastewater, etc. This ensures that the public receives appropriate levels of service on all of these assets that they're being used. Some of you may be wondering if you have or your municipality actually follows a maintenance standard. I can tell you from talking with many lawyers that being able to provide due diligence is vital in any kind of defense in proving that the municipality is following a certain standard. But if you're hoping to rely on public works staff memory or even paper records, the defense process becomes more challenging. Not to mention that even creating reports or things for council or your reporting processes becomes rather difficult. Councils seem to like to cut maintenance budgets first, but is this the most cost-effective thing to do over the long term? How about risk? Is the cutting of service budgets just increasing the risk not only of potential liability, but also the risk of not getting the most out of that asset? We're living in a time right now where GIS technology is enabling us to develop systems like Burnside Mobile integrated with Cityworks that can provide GPS timestamp proof of the location where maintenance activity is required and has been done. So these maintenance standards are really quite critical, and I'm really hoping that your municipality is using something. But let me ask you the next poll question. Does your municipality regularly patrol or inspect roadway assets, because we are focusing on roadway assets now, complying with your provincial asset maintenance standards? These standards are all across the country. The ones in particular I'd love to emphasize are out in BC. You have some really interesting standards with respect to ensuring that you're looking at forecasts. So make your selection there, and as the results become available, we'll start looking at those and share those with you. Shows, okay, so 60% of you are actually using standards that the province has laid out, which is excellent. 40 of you are not, and this, I would recommend, is probably something you should be looking into to ensure that things move forward in a smooth way and you get the most out of your asset capital investment. Let me explain now how Burnside Mobile works in a general form, and we're going to get into a demo in a second. Burnside Mobile, we developed this back in 2001, and some of you may wonder, why would an engineering firm actually get involved in preparing and developing us this software product? Well, I was out back in the year 2000 with a road superintendent, and we were talking about some road projects in their community, and at one point he pulled over to the side of the road and jotted down a note about some deficiency he saw, and we carried on for an hour or so talking about different projects we're going to be doing for the municipality. When we were done and I was preparing to leave and drive back to the Burnside office, I asked the director, so what are you going to be doing with that note that you wrote down about that deficiency on that roadway? It was at that point that the director was trying to find that piece of paper that he wrote it on, and I knew we had to develop something to help our clients never lose track of a maintenance item again. As you can see from this slide, Burnside Mobile is built on ArcGIS Enterprise or ArcGIS Online as the data tier, and GeoCortex Essentials Vertigis product for the web interface. As you can imagine, there are some requirements, but if you have a GIS data set of your road network, you probably have everything you need. You need the road name. From and to would be a good recommendation, but at least a road name, a maintenance class, and unique asset road ID, and best if you had an intersection-to-intersection topology. Other optional asset layers could be signs, streetlights, catch basins, manholes, all those things that are within your roadway. This could add to being more effective and efficient. The hardware that you would need, we designed actually Burnside Mobile to work with Apple iOS or Android smart devices in the field, basically for tablets or cell phones. Some of the additional modules that we have developed, we're going to be talking about the road patrol today, as Bill mentioned, but we've developed many other modules to really zero in on how to best help our clients with these specific asset types. So if you have interest in this, we can look at that in the future. Just give us a call. The focus here today is that we have integrated Burnside Mobile with Cityworks. So any any issue or maintenance item in the field that is identified via patrol inspection program, once you save that maintenance item in Burnside Mobile, it is passed through the API, the application programming interface, right through to CityWorks requests, and generate CityWorks requests then moves into the whole process of generating maintenance work orders. I'm going to let Chris now explain to you how to best work with CityWorks.
Thanks very much, Arunus. So in this integration, we really looked at the opportunity to use native workflows that already exist in the CityWorks work management system and to leverage those. We really wanted to achieve end-to-end communication between the applications. That was one major goal. The other major goal was to stick to using native work activities within CityWorks. So the APIs that are provided with CityWorks out of the box really make this possible. And by doing so with the service request as the starting point, it allows an organization to follow their normal processes and triage and investigate the issue for its legitimacy and its concurrency. Is the problem still there even after reporting it? Then moving into a cycle of tracking that as a work event, as a work order. And then eventually when that item reaches end of its own life cycle, the update back to Burnside Mobile to ensure that from a regulatory perspective and levels of service, that there are date stamps, that there are messages sent back, the updates are processed, all again using the CityWorks APIs. And internally within CityWorks, the process has been automated with the use of Action Manager, which also uses CityWorks APIs to allow the process to be fluid and fast, and staff don't have to worry about creating the work orders. They can just stick to looking at their inboxes and managing the content that is available to them and been submitted. Next up, we're going to move to our demo. And for the purposes of this presentation, we have pre-recorded the technical demonstration. With the nature of working from home and the vagaries of the internet, we have found, and from past experience, challenges broadcasting live demonstrations. And so at this point, I'm going to step into the video. Make sure you full screen it on your side so that you can see the applications as best as possible. And I'm about to hit play on the video with the integration of Burnside Mobile to CityWorks.
Bill, appreciate everything that Esri does. Let's have a look now. You're looking at a screen of Burnside Mobile, and this would be the screen that you would see in the field on your tablet or cell phone, smartphone. And the whole purpose here is showing you that here's the map. It could be your base map, could be an Esri map. It really doesn't matter. That's configurable. And the other thing that I'd like to mention is you could load all of your different asset types into the system. Here we've got some catch basins loaded, and I wanted to share with you how that all works. So with respect to levels of service, we're going to be following a standard, a maintenance standard, and you'll be able to see that shortly. So one of the standards is patrolling or inspecting your roadway for all those assets and any kind of road deficiencies or maintenance items. First thing that happens when you start your patrol or inspection is you come up with this weather form, and it's always good to fill this out. Today it's good visibility, no precipitation, but it is overcast. And there is a light wind out of the northwest at approximately 2 degrees Celsius. At the bottom here, there's this button that identifies your weather site that you can go to for forecasts. This is good for identifying and recording in the database that you went and you looked at that forecast. Some maintenance standards require you to go at least 3 times a day to check forecasts to ensure that there is no extreme weather event coming through. Let's save this weather. And now you'll see that we're driving out of our parking lot here at Burnside office and downtown line along the road. you'll see here this P, red dot P, that is a pothole that was identified before and is still not taken care of. We're coming close to this catch basin. So on the left, you'll see here, I'm going to add a maintenance item to an asset, and that asset would be this catch basin. But if you were adding a maintenance item to an asset at an intersection, there could be lots of different assets. So that's why on your tablet or smartphone, you can draw your finger across that area that might indicate a lot of different assets, pull them up, and on the left, they'd be listed. In our case, it's the catch basin, and there's only the one asset, so great, we've identified it. These are different buttons to either edit or review the attributes of that particular asset. But here we're going to add a maintenance item on that catch basin, which is a drainage issue. So that catch basin, we see that we're on Town Line from Broadway to Orange Street. We're near this address of 18 Town Line in Orangeville. And this quick pick is actually a way that we can quickly add a note. So it could be something related to the inlets. And if you want to, you can actually add a photo. You can add a photo to this in the field. What would happen is it would instantly go to your camera, and you can use your camera and attach that photo directly to this maintenance item. And I'm going to save that photo to this maintenance item and to clean out the inlets. In this note field, you can also use the internal microphone of that tablet or smartphone, and that can be converted from voice to words and type script on that note field. This is going to be saved as a standard deficiency or maintenance item, and you can see the CB in orange for drainage, identified for drainage on the map. As we drive down the road, we're looking for more maintenance items. Let's say we pull over because we saw a roadway deficiency, a pothole, and that now is between Amanda Street and Alexander Street, near 24 Town Line here in Orangeville. And the quick pick for this is really a hot patch for this time of year. And for this particular deficiency or this maintenance item on a class 2 road or maintenance class 2 road, if it exceeds 800 square centimeters or 8 centimeters deep, that repair needs to be completed within 4 days. So when I'm going to save this as a regulatory deficiency and a regulatory maintenance item, which means that starting now, when I press save, it's being pushed directly to Cityworks and with a service by date, so that the people that are using Cityworks to generate the work orders can identify in their notes field that, hey, we have to get this done to comply with the regulation and ensure that our levels of service are being met. So I'm pressing here, save as regulation. A red dot with a P shows up, and we continue driving down the road. We're coming by a school, and one maintenance item that sometimes happens near schools, not sure how it happens in your area, which is a debris issue. So I'm going to mark this as a debris issue, and we know that we're between Alexander and Green Street, and the quick pick here could be litter. And because as the inspector, I have the ability to put it in the back of the truck if it's small enough, if I can manage that, and it needs to be done as soon as practicable. So I'm doing this on the spot. Therefore, I am not only identifying it, but I'm also closing this same issue all at the same time. And Chris will be able to show us in Cityworks how that happens. That's closed, and you can see now that it is not on the map because it's closed. Only open issues remain on the map. Another way of adding maintenance items is using this quick pick technique. And this does not give you the same amount of details that are being pushed over to Cityworks, but it'll still be the same as recording a maintenance item. So let's say it's a regulatory issue and pothole. And let's add another one that's, let's say, is crack. So at the bottom, you see that I added that. And if I go back to the map here, you can see those two maintenance items have been recorded. You can add journal entries. You can review maintenance items. So let's do this. Let's review a maintenance item. I'm going to review this pothole. Again, I'm going to select an area, drag my finger across that tablet or smartphone, and it pulls up that particular maintenance item. I'm going to click on this form symbol, and I get exactly what was recorded on that maintenance item. So this could be someone in the field pulls over, sees an issue, identifies, hey, that it's a pothole, hot patch required. Therefore, right here, it's regulatory. If I have the authorization and level of authorization, I could edit this. And if it doesn't exceed size, I can push it back to standard. Or let me just leave that. It could be another photo that I want to take. So I can add an attachment here to this particular maintenance item. Let's say I'm done reviewing this and I'm back on my patrol. It's something, all kinds of things we can do. We can pause our patrol if we're going for a coffee break or lunch, but I'm going to stop patrolling. And the best practice here is to review the patrol right away. You may not have that opportunity if you're being called off a patrol to some emergency or something. Therefore, you pause your patrol, you go do whatever it is that the emergency is, and you can pick up your patrol further in another part of town, in another part of that patrol area. Let me now click on this. So we're going through the review process. Automatically, this cyan color comes up for all of those road segments that you've fully completed that inspection from start to end of that road segment. You will notice here that on this particular road, we started inside the start area of that road segment. I can use this tool, select and unselect, if I was close enough to that intersection to prove by GPS location that I saw all the way to that intersection. And that means, yes, I've completed that inspection because I have seen all the way to that intersection. So I'm going to draw my finger across, and there you go. That now becomes part of your identified, patrolled, or inspected road segments. I'm going to accept this, and I'm going to see that about 11 sections on this patrol are being accepted. I've completed that, which is excellent. Great, I'm done. I've completed my patrol, but now I want to check based on my patrol route how much I still have left and when do I have to have it done by. And this is all part of the whole level of service idea. So I notice here, if I zoom out a bit, I notice here that on my patrol, this red marker identified in red are all roads that are past due. So I'm going to need someone to pick up if I've finished my my time and I'm going home and the next crew is coming in, they can pull up this same image and see, oh, George or myself, Arunas, didn't finish that patrol. We better pick up on it and make sure that it's done to ensure that we complete our levels of service. Another thing that I'm going to show you now, just before passing it over to Chris, are all of these maintenance items that we've recorded just now. And you can see the service by date is recorded, and all of this information is passed over to Chris. See this work order field? Well, these numbers are the exact numbers that are being generated in Cityworks in the service request fields. So I'm going to pass this over now to Chris so he can now fulfill the obligations that Cityworks has in generating work orders and fulfilling those work orders. Take it away, Chris.
Thank you, Bill. All right. For the purpose of this demonstration, I will be playing the role of a road supervisor in our organization. As a road supervisor, I have access to the Cityworks Respond module, and I'll be using Cityworks through this user interface today. On my dashboard here, I have a variety of saved search results and inbox widgets here, including an indicator and a pie chart. These are focused on road patrol specific issues. And through the use of the Cityworks APIs, an integration has been built between the Burnside mobile application and the Cityworks work management system. Sorted automatically by decreasing ID, we have the most recent items at the top. I could filter this and resort based on the details and look at the different types that are coming in from the application. In order for me to know what application the information is coming from, I've also added an initiated by application field to my saved search. If there are multiple organization applications that are being used to bring information to Cityworks, this is a great thing to have right here so you can understand where the information came from, which line of business system was used. Sorting back again by the date initiated, looking at in descending mode, I'm going to take a look at the few most recent items that Arunas has submitted. So we'll open the top three. Opening these service requests, I can see information that's come in terms of who was the user in RJ Burnside Mobile's application. The comment is indicated, as well as in the caller. So I'll see information here going forward, and for historical purposes, who submitted this information, as well as the note that they provided in the app. If there are any attachments for photos, they will show in the attachments page. Importantly, where the item was located is stored as the XY coordinate, including the address and the location information that describes in more detail where the event occurred. Moving on to the next item that we had submitted was for a pothole issue. This pothole issue has been mapped to an appropriate template. The previous one for the debris and litter went to an appropriate service request template for that, and the defaults have really taken over in terms of who will be responding to these issues. Due to the regulatory nature of this issue, the priority is high, and we also have a service by date in the comments. Lastly, the third service request. We can see a similar situation as the last one, where again, it's a high priority regulatory requirement to service this pothole by a specific date and time. Coming back to my inbox in the dashboard here, we do have the opportunity to look at all this information geospatially. So the Cityworks map has the same results from my inbox dashboard displayed, and at any one time I can zoom and look at the density of these issues, where are they occurring. I can click on them for further detail and information from the map tooltip pop-ups. With the legend, I can also interact with an additional layer and also turn on my work orders, which are a automatically generated follow-up work activity based on configuration in Cityworks Action Manager. Next, we're going to take a look at these work orders. So they are related in a 1-to-1 ratio, and I could open the work orders from the service requests in the related work activities panel. I can also open them directly here from the inbox. So I'm going to take a look at these top two items for patching, knowing that they were the highest priority. Opening these work orders now as the supervisor, it would traditionally be in this scenario that I would have to dispatch this work out to someone. In this case, in this organization, it has been defaulted to go to the paving foreman for immediate resolution, and they'll be notified on their mobile device on their inbox that they have new items to go out and repair. We've passed over information from the service request, including the comments, as well as that critical service by date. So this information is available to field crews. Now, in the purposes of this demonstration and webinar, usually the field crews would add their resource utilization. We're going to skip over that right now and just go to the end of the life cycle for this work activity event. In order to show that we're meeting regulatory compliance, that we're reducing liability, and really working towards our level of service, we're going to populate the actual start date and finish date of when this repair was concluded. I can do that easily by double and clicking the start and finish dates, and I can close. Cityworks does have these dates as a required field, and I would not be able to close as a supervisor otherwise, so there's nice built-in data validation. I'm going to go to my second work order, and I'm going to repeat the process again under the assumption that this field crew has finished the work and they would have changed the status in the field. I'm going to populate the actual start and actual finish date once again and close the work order. At this point, our integration with Burnside Mobile will have been updated and the work order will now be closed on our application, seeing that here. And going back to our dashboard, there will be less service requests now here based on the fact that the status of the related service request is also closed when the work order is closed. Back to you, Arunas.
Thanks, Chris. As you can see on your screen, this already updated our maintenance list in our table, and we can look at other closed maintenance items here, and these are the ones that Chris has probably just closed right away. So all this is great. It proves to us that we are being compliant with our service process, our process of accepting, looking, inspecting maintenance items, recording them, pushing them into Cityworks, taking care of them in Cityworks, and complying. And we can prove that very clearly in both systems, which is fabulous, and they would be exactly the same. The last thing I want to show you are a few reports. There's so much we can show, but I do want to show a few reports here. And I'm going to select this road section detail report, which is some of the reports that are just pretty much all the time used by our clients. I'm going to click on this road section here because I believe there were some items that actually Chris closed, and it's today's date that you can have your range of dates from and to dates, and I'm going to run the report. So we should be able to see the report coming up, and on that report we see a thumbnail map showing where that road section is, some of the attributes of that road section, and all of the information, all of the patrol logs over that time period, that weather information that was recorded on those patrols, and some of the notes or other information. So on this particular segment, there was that pothole, that roadway pothole that was closed, and we've identified that it was closed and it was serviced by a dated issue. So we're looking here at that work order number or that request number. So there is that full integration, front and end, on this report. Another report that I wanted to share with you is due and overdue. And this is a interesting one. I'm going to show it for all because this is a demo data set that we really don't have that many maintenance items and things that need to be looked for. But I'm going to run this report, and you're going to see here that based on the information, these are the 2 due or overdue items that are still in the system that need to be completed over that 7-day period that are still outstanding. Just a very quick way that you can pull up something and now you can go back to CityWorks and see, oh yeah, I better take care of this to ensure that we maintain that level of service and maintain that that system that we've got approval to do. There's so much more that we can be showing, but I'd like to now just finish things off and we can summarize our webinar. Thanks again, Chris, for a great job on CityWorks, and back to you, Bill.
Bill, you have the controls again, and we'll be able to proceed with the slides.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
Okay, so after the demo and summary, we've shown how important it is to have the ability to track how well you are complying to your maintenance standards and levels of service, whether they are ones you have set or ones that need to be followed up due to government regulations. The ability to track and report on issues is critical in responding to and maintaining your levels of service. Knowing where you have issues is the first step in taking the appropriate corrective action. And we all know we have budget constraints, and knowing in real time where you've got issues and where you have to make adjustments will save money in the long term by taking action sooner than later and prolonging the life of your assets and reducing your liability costs. There are a number of additional resources that are going to be available to you that will support your efforts in setting these items up. And remember, you're going to be getting a copy of the slides, so you'll be able to access the various sites for more information on how you can get started on some of these things. Now, we do have a couple of questions, and we've got some time now to take them. So I'll read the first one. Are there any performance issues if more than 20 or 25 people are using the system at the same time? And Arunas, can you take that one?
Happy to take that, Bill. Great question. Our system, Burnside Mobile, just like CityWorks, is an enterprise-type system, and numbers are not an issue. I'll give you a couple examples. We have a couple regions in Ontario using Burnside Mobile, and they have well over 60-plus people using it daily, every day, all the time. So no performance issues that we would know of.
Okay, great. Another one is, can we set our own standards in the Burnside Mobile, or is it fixed as to the standards and levels of service that come with it? And Arunas.
Yeah, another great question. Burnside Mobile was really designed that it would be flexible that way, that the user can set those standards, because even if a province has set municipal standards, what we've found is some municipalities actually exceed some of those standards and set their own to be at a higher level, and therefore Burnside Mobile is designed that you can make those adjustments and develop your own standards that are being used within Burnside Mobile.
Okay, great. And I think this is one for you, Chris. Can the integration create a CityWorks work order and not go to the service request and just eliminate that sort of administrative process?
Yeah, Bill, that's a great question. Absolutely. The CityWorks APIs are really what are driving the integration, and they're quite flexible. And with Burnside Mobile being built on top of GeoCortex and its workflows, the two applications can really be brought together and talk at a variety of levels. Some organizations would like to skip the step of a service request, knowing that they've already been told to do the work. It's a staff member who's already registered it, and they're willing to forego that initial step in investigation and work towards resolution and bringing down the amount of time it takes for them as an organization in order to comply with standards, really. So, yeah, if you'd like to bring that in direct to a work order, attach an asset, bring in related records to it as well from another system, all those would be possible with the CityWorks APIs and working with Action Manager inside of CityWorks itself. Thanks for the question.
Okay, great. Thanks. Well, that was it for the questions. So we've come to the end of the webinar. I trust we've provided you with the information that you can use to make some decisions on moving forward with adding additional functionality to support your asset and maintenance management needs. And as I said in the beginning, please complete the questionnaire that will come with your email with the information on accessing the presentation. We do use this information to create additional webinars that are of our interest, and also to work on the technical aspects of the sessions and that. So with that, I want to thank everybody for attending, and if you've got questions or need some more information, please contact your Esri Canada account manager or contact Arunas or myself at the emails that you see there. Thanks, everybody. Take care and stay safe. Goodbye.